Hey everybody, welcome back to Conscientious Omnivore. My name is Pal. Today I'm excited to be putting together a video for everybody, hopefully showing how to grow dragon fruit from seed. So this is a store-bought dragon fruit. It's a little bit past its prime, I think. You can see that there's a little bit of wilting going on here, and unfortunately a little bit of mildew there at the bottom. So I'm still hopeful that this is okay. It feels pretty firm for the most part. It's getting a little soft here at the end. So I might have to kind of cut some of that out. But anyway, should be okay. And if anybody's not familiar with dragon fruit, it's a very interesting fruit. And I actually did not know that this actually comes from a cacti or a succulent plant. I had no idea what it looked like. It basically looks like a cactus, and then this fruit grows at the end of it. So that was actually news to me. I've been looking on various videos, getting some tips about how to grow it and what have you, and I'm going to try to grow it myself. So come with me on my journey. We're going to cut this up. I'm going to peel off this outer part. If you've never seen a dragon fruit, it's got lovely, usually a couple different colors. There's white ones on the inside with black seeds. There's pink or red. There's a couple of different colors. There's apparently a yellow one too, which I've never actually eaten. And they taste very reminiscent of kiwis, I think. A little bit tart, a little bit sweet, and fairly mild. I would say it's a more mild taste than kiwis. But yeah, let's get this cut open and I'll show you guys the inside. Boy, I really need to sharpen this knife. Yeah, see, that part's gonna get cut out. Okay, so you guys can see this is actually a little bit past its prime. It should be more white on the inside. This has gone kind of a little bit too ripe now. And you can see some of the parts there that were going bad in the bottom. But yeah, I'm sure it'll still be fine. You can see these little black seeds. That's what we're going to be separate them. It's kind of a lot like a kiwi seed. So I'm going to try to separate this out on a paper towel. We'll do that in a second. Let's peel this though. There's the lovely fruit. It's quite nice. I'm gonna slice up a few little slices. So you guys can see it should be a little bit lighter colored, more white like around the edges. That's the ones I've usually seen. But let's give it a test, make sure it actually tastes decent. It's still good. Not as sweet as I remembered it. It's been a long time since I've had one. But it is very interesting. So let's get some seeds separated out, and then we're going to let those dry on a paper towel. I'll show you in a second. So you can see several of the seeds that I've put on this paper towel here. We're going to let them just air dry for even just a few hours. I think should be okay. I want to make sure that there isn't any pulp left on it, so that they don't get mold issues when we go to plant them and get them to germinate. One way that I found is actually really easy to get the seeds off is that when you have a little slice like this, you can see that the seeds are kind of sticking out. Not all of them, but like every once in a while you see one that kind of sticks out from the cut. And you can just basically drop it on the paper and then just try to move it around, and you get some of them to just stay there. So it's actually pretty easy to get some of the seeds out. And you obviously don't need to get every single seed out. So I'm just going to do that for a little bit more, get a few more seeds, and then we are going to let this dry. So it's the next day. I actually didn't get a chance to finish this last night when I wanted to. So it's been probably about 24 hours since they've been sitting out on the seed. The seeds have been sitting out here. You probably didn't need that long. They were definitely dry enough before. What I'm going to do is actually put away some of the seeds for later in case this doesn't work. And I'm just going to put that in a paper bag and keep it with my other seeds. The other one I'm going to pick off the seeds and then just put them into some moistened potting mix here, just regular soil with some humus in there. And once these are actually growing, you want to use a really sandy soil because they are cacti. They don't want to be waterlogged and have the roots be exposed to rot damage. But for now, just to get them started, I'm going to keep them in here. And I've got these handy dandy covers. These were, I think, tomato containers, and I put some holes in the bottom so the water drains out. And I'm just going to lightly take the seeds, put them in here, and just kind of press them in just very lightly. So just basically almost doing nothing, just get them there and just push them in like that. I'm going to use a spray bottle to moisten them a little more, put the caps on, and then I'm just going to make sure that the soil is always a little bit moist, and hopefully we will see the next step when they are sprouting, and I'll show that to you guys. Okay guys, it's actually only been about 6 days if I remember right, and they are already very well on their way to growing. I'm actually super surprised at how quickly these sprouted. I didn't get a chance to do a video on this, but I think they sprouted 2 days ago, which would have been, I can't remember if it's either 4 or 5 days after I put them in the soil here. Let me try and get this thing off with one hand. There we go. So you can see them closer. You can see they're growing quite nicely. And for whatever reason, it seems like the ones in this container just started growing way sooner than the ones in here, but this one is also starting, so you can see the seeds in there are also starting to come out and poke out their little heads. So yeah, I'm going to just keep them moist and covered like this, keep them nice and warm. They're in a somewhat sunny spot. It's like a western facing window, so it's not exactly super sunny, not exactly shady either. And I'm going to let these grow. I'll keep giving you guys updates here, and I'm looking forward to planting them out separately. So we'll check back in another few days. Okay guys, so a little bit disappointed here. May have been my own fault. I've been kind of moving these around between various rooms and windows and stuff, and unfortunately a lot of them have kind of fallen over and kind of started rotting out. Some are still doing well, and now I've kind of found a good place for them. This is an eastern facing window. This seems to get a lot of light, for much of the day anyway, and maybe this will be better. Plus I'm not moving them around anymore, so they should hopefully be facing the same way. I think sprouts are really kind of susceptible to needing to be faced the same way because they're so little. I think I really kind of screwed that up. So we'll see what happens. Give it another few days, and pretty soon then I will hopefully get a few of these to survive, and we'll see if we can transplant them. This batch here is growing a lot slower for some reason, not sure why. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on it, and worst comes to worst, I might start a new batch from the dried seeds, but we will see. It's been about 4.5 months actually, and interestingly enough, the one where they all sprouted really quick and then they started falling over, those all died. And I've got this little interesting green moss that has now grown into this container, which is really interesting. Have no idea how or why that happened, but pretty fascinating. Here, the ones that started off really slow have continued to grow extremely slowly, but these have survived, and they are now taking on the little recognizable cactus shape. So they are definitely turning into little baby dragon fruits. I'm going to try to plant this out now. I've made a very, very sandy mix soil in a pot, and I'm going to actually try transferring these delicately. You can see that they are still very fragile and very small kind of at the base. So I'm going to try my best to hopefully not damage them and get them planted out there. And we'll see what happens. And I will probably also start some more from the dry seeds. I haven't had a chance really. I've been super busy with everything else going on. But I will try to get some more of these going, because if nothing else, I think they make really cool decorative plants, and I can maybe gift some away to family and friends. So yeah, let's try to get these planted out, and we'll see how they look. So there you have it. Planted them all out here, including some really little scraggly ones like that, and this tiny one here in the corner. But yeah, I think they came out looking like they're going to be okay. I tried to kind of straighten them out a little bit because you know, they were really kind of leaning and what have you. These little spikes that they have on there are not really you know, anything to worry about yet. They're just almost like little hair follicles at this point. They're not going to really you know, poke your fingers, so it's pretty easy to deal with them and manage them. This soil that I mixed up here is in large part sand. This came from our property, and I've done videos showing you guys how I'm growing tomatoes in sand. Kind of jokingly say that, but it really is sandy. So this is about 2/3 sand, 1/3 just regular black you know, potting soil. So hopefully that should be good for what this needs. It's my understanding that you only really need to water them about once every maybe 3 weeks or so. I'll keep it on the dry side and see what happens. They definitely look pretty good, and they're finally starting to grow. It took a long time to get here, and I don't know if that's because I left them in that moist soil for too long or what have you. I don't really know. But what I did was I also started some new ones, and we'll see if those do any better. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see how these continue to grow. I will do update videos about them. This will probably be the first of a whole series of them eventually, and we'll see how long it takes to grow to, you know, maturity. I will have to build a special kind of pot for them with a post that they can climb up. I will be getting to that as they get bigger, but for now we'll just end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up, and hope to see you in another one soon. And I'll be sure to, you know, do a few updates on this as time goes by over the coming months, and I'll show you, especially if I'm building the you know, the container with the post for them, how that is going to be done, and I'll make sure to keep everybody posted. So that's it for now. Say goodbye to these cute little guys, and see you in another video soon. Thanks.